It's thinking. Hi, guys. It is Julia, and we are here with another episode of Better Than Sex.
Yep, we are. And I am Kitty Cat DeMille. And if you could tell us your name and your elevator pitch of what you do in the sexy world.
Sure. My name's Janie. I'm the owner of Tinsel Cosmetics, but my stage name is Zerlina Brava. So I'm a singer and burlesque performer here in Dallas, Texas. So I love to sing, and obviously I love sparkles. So it just all kind of tied together into a burlesque career. So that's what I do here in Dallas.
Awesome. And did you do makeup first and then get into burlesque, or were you a burlesque dancer that was like, I gotta make better makeup?
Actually, yeah, the burlesque came first. So I took a class, I guess probably about 6 or 7 years ago now, because I'd always been super curious about burlesque and always, wanted to do that. And I saw my first show when I was 21, right? Because one of my friends, like his sister, was taking her hair classes, and she was like, oh my God, my teacher is this awesome drag queen, and she's doing this show by downtown Dallas, like, you've got to come. I was like, okay, that sounds fun. And then I went to the show and I was just fascinated. I was like, I love this. This is so fun. Where has this been all my life? I realized, I was like, oh my God, how does this exist? And how did I not really think that it, because it was like the costumes, the music, the comedy, like everything, combined. I was like just fascinated. But then it took me a few years to really, feel comfortable enough to do it. Cause it's pretty young. And then it's like, you're going to go out there. It's like, I don't know how to start. So then I took a class in Dallas probably about 6 years ago, and the class culminated in a show. So the show, everybody in the class would kind of give their performance. You can have your name. I actually did change my name since that performance because there's actually, I didn't realize there was another burlesque performer in Las Vegas with a really similar name. Mm-hmm. So then I became Zerlina Brava after that. But so I took that class, and I just was like, oh my God, buy me all this Swarovski I can get. Like, I want to do this all the time. So then I started performing and, getting into some festivals and performing in a venue here in Dallas I really like called Viva Dallas. And then, probably 3 or 4 years ago, I'd been really wanting to start my own makeup just because I love makeup. I'm not as good at the hair, but I mean, the makeup and outfits, I just love it. And then I couldn't find a lipstick that I thought was comfortable enough. Because, when you're singing, you're around a mic, right? So it's like you have to move your mouth so much and then be on stage and sweat and be in the stage lights. So I just wanted something that was more comfortable and kind of light feeling. And then also really highly pigmented for stage. So burlesque actually came first, and then the makeup inspiration came later, but it's all kind of interconnected. So
now, do you have a background in chemistry, or are you like more of like an artsy person that was like, I'm just gonna learn how to create makeup?
So I did, I was making makeup myself, like just in my kitchen, but I'm not a chemist by any means. Okay. I'm more an artsy person. I mean, I do work a corporate job that's more like, audit-based and kind of serious. But I mean, as far as chemistry and math, those are not my strong points. So I worked with a chemist on kind of what I wanted to formulate, what I wanted the formula to be. I said, these are kind of the boxes I want to tick off for the formula. So we worked on that for a while, probably around a year. And then one of my friends came to stay with me, who actually is an entrepreneur in Los Angeles, because she also was singing for the Dallas Opera. She stayed at my house for a bit. And I was a little bit too scared to launch it. Like, it was sitting in my drawer because it's so scary to like put yourself out there. I was like, I don't know, I've never started a brand before. Like, I love performing and all that, but I don't know what to do. And she was like, bitch, we're taking pictures this weekend. Like, we're putting it out there. So she really she gave me the push to really just launch the website and start getting it out there. And that was actually last year. So it's been a whirlwind, but a good one. So
yeah, well, that's actually pretty quick. So how long from the time you thought of the product to the time you actually had the product in hand? What's the time for that?
Oh, it's probably, let's see. I probably had the first idea that, inkling in the back of my mind, like I want to do a makeup line probably before I did burlesque, like in 2012 or 2013. I was like, that'd be really cool to have my own. And then I worked on the formula in 2017. into 2018, and then just kind of like was stuck for a while. Like, should I put it out there? I don't know, start a brand. And then in March of 2019, we launched it on the website.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, I have it on right now, and I love it. It's very, one of the things all the girls noticed is I've given it to all the girls in the cast, and one of the things they all noticed is that it smells really good on top of like feeling really good on, like it feels like a really nice like luxury product. So whoever you're partnering with to make it does a lovely job, because I've literally had it on since 5 a.m. and I haven't had to retouch it.
That's what I want to hear, because especially you all are performers, like you guys are on the stage all the time, so getting that kind of feedback is good. And so I've been partnering with some drag queens, burlesque people, pinups, like partly because it's just everything I love and enjoy. So I was like, might as well just market to the people that I like and that I would connect with, right? Because anybody can wear lipstick. It's just that's kind of why I wanted to gear it toward performers, because obviously there's Bill Nye or like those other theater kind of companies that cater to performers, but
wait, did you say Bill Nye, like the science guy?
Ben Nye.
Oh, Ben Nye.
I know.
Okay, I was like, wait, he has a makeup brand?
Cat's mind was blown.
Hey, Karina Abdul-Jabbar writes Sherlock Holmes mystery novels, so like anything out there is possible.
That's true. You never know. I know.
Yeah.
You guys, by the way, I've been listening to Hugh Laurie's jazz CD. If you guys haven't listened to that jazz CD, it's one of the top 5 jazz CDs I've ever heard in my life. And it's amazing. So just another celebrity doing odd things. Hugh Laurie's jazz CD. Yeah. It's amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. I love him.
Who knew?
Listen to that.
Who knew? Who knew? And maybe someday Bill Nye will have a cosmetics company.
You never know. Maybe I just started something for him that he didn't know was going to happen.
I love it. Now, Janine, when you first launched your cosmetics company, did you just launch a lipstick line, or did you launch a full spectrum of makeup? What is Tinsel Cosmetic? What is your repertoire, I guess, your inventory?
Yeah, so right now it's just lip colors,
Okay.
Like we just launched last year, so I'm just kind of concentrating on that, but I have some other products that have been in my mind since 2012 that I'm going to release soon, probably next year. But, that's probably why I was kind of holding off on releasing everything, because I was like, should I get my other ideas ready? And my friend was like, no, get your brand going, get it started with the lipstick. The lipstick is already really good, and then you can add those other products that you want to add later. So right now we have 9 colors, or actually 10 now, Kiss of It. So that's our 10th color in the inventory. Yay. So we have 10 colors, and I tried to kind of, have it on a broad spectrum. Like, there's reds, neutrals, purples, like a little bit for everyone, like some darker fall colors coming for fall, like, Bullet Bra Burgundy. And then next year, probably going to launch some more, pinks. Like I have, 3 pinks in the works, like a kind of lightish 60s pink and then a more rosy pink. So it's really fun coming up with the colors. And then, the names I try to kind of keep in the arena as well, like nipple tassel nude. Like I think that's my favorite
Yay!
name. I love that name. Some people come up to me and they're like, "Oh my God, my daughter, she's on a dance team. She's 12. She wants to use your products." And I'm like, "How about Pin Up Pink, not the nipple tassel nude?" So funny. So right now just lipsticks, but I definitely want to expand, and do more things that are sparkly and fun and geared toward performers. So.
Awesome. Yeah. So tell us about the Kiss of It lipstick, specifically, like the color. Julia, you can chime in too. I want to hear how it was created.
The color was purely her creation. She literally, Becky approached her about a partnership, and we started talking and realized there was a lot of synergy. And so we talked about doing this color, and she's like, well, I have this really great red that's been in my back pocket. And it's a fabulous red. Everyone I put it on, it literally turns into like the perfect red for them. It's amazing.
I will say, since I've only worn it today because mine showed up today in the mail. And just in time. But it's not very drying. A lot of times when you use this kind of like lip stains, it locks everything in, like you're putting on a face mask and it dries and it's like you're like kind of. And I really not like the level of moisture that I still have on my lips having it on, if that makes sense.
It does. Yeah, actually formulated because I grew up with eczema and really severe. Like people thought I had poison ivy my whole childhood, you know. So I was like, I want to create something where if you have sensitive skin, you could wear it and then where it doesn't feel so heavy and then have a bit of fragrance, which I know some people are kind of sensitive to that, but it's a very little, very small amount. So anybody that has, skin irritation, anything like that, I wanted it to work for them. And then also that kind of lightness, to the formula. There's, also coffee seed extract, which helps with that surprisingly. And then argan and coconut oil. So that's why it has that kind of light feel to the lips and helps them keep moisturized. Because I noticed that with other brands, because I was wearing liquid to matte before. Because once you try liquid to matte, you never go back really, because it's like the other just kind of wax-based lipstick. It just doesn't stay as well. It can look pretty, but I just don't want it to come off every time I take a drink of something, so I'm wearing that, but then, I just kind of want to take it up a notch. So I'm glad you guys are liking the formula because I do and not even, and obviously I'm biased, but honestly, I don't even use any other brands now. So.
Well, and you shouldn't because right. you're always the number one demographic for whatever product you create. If you don't like it, then why are you making it? So.
Yeah.
Now, if we were to craft the best pinup lips, I guess you would say, what would you suggest? Would you suggest using a lip liner that's darker or a little lighter? How do you craft, paint the perfect canvas of pinup lips?
Yeah, people have varying preferences. For me, I actually don't use lip liner just because you don't really need it with this kind of product. So what I'll do is just overline on the Cupid's bow and then go down to the natural, line of your lip here and then just overline just a bit more in the center. So you can overline in the center and then follow your natural line on the edges. And then what I do is I take a concealer, tapered brush with a very fine point and then just go around with that and then just kind of, fix up any lines with my own concealer. And that does the trick, honestly, because, a lot of time, but if you want an ombre look, you can even do that with our lipsticks too. You could do, an ombre of let's say Bullet Broad Burgundy on the outsides and then do the red, and it actually blends really well with a lip brush. I've seen people do Burlesque Berry and Cabaret Crimson together and it's really pretty. They put the kind of purple on the inside of the lip and then blend out. So that's what I do for that just kind of perfect Cupid's bow pinup look. And I like not having to have the lip liner just because there's, you kind of eliminate another step because I'm already using concealer anyway. You just need another brush just specifically for your lips. So that's usually what I do.
Cool. That's something I definitely will listen to again on the playback.
Yeah, it works pretty well. Just, I use it exclusively. I always wash my brushes after anyway. And you can just kind of just rinse it real quick. Mm-hmm. But a side note, don't get this lipstick on your clothes because it stays on so well that just be careful if you're using the brush to not get it anywhere because I OxyClean this white shirt and it's still there, which is good. It's good staying power on your face. Just don't get it on your clothes. So
just don't get it. It's not meant for clothes.
I also think that's kind of a given with red lipstick. Yours is not exclusive to that fact. Mm-hmm. It's just anytime you get red lipstick on something, you're kind of giving it up to some degree.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
it's true. So,
and Julia, you guys have a show to celebrate this tomorrow.
Yeah,
correct?
So we're doing a show on Facebook and YouTube. It's just a free virtual show to announce Kiss event, and that's why I was up at 5:30 or 5 o'clock this morning. Is we've been recording videos all day for that to kind of get ready. We're doing all songs themed around Kiss. So we have some vintage songs. We even have Kiss by Prince. So we have some more modern songs. And it's a lot of fun. Honestly, it's just great to be creative again. I'm so sick of kind of sitting at home and twiddling my thumbs. So it was nice to put things together and put up lights and use a fog machine and film some stuff. It was a lot of fun. So I can't wait for everyone to see it tomorrow. And then Janie, you're also doing a performance at our show.
Yes, I'm gonna do It's in His Kiss. I'm excited about that. That's always been one of my favorites. Like when I was little, I'd tune into the oldie station and jam out. So I'm excited about singing that, and just have an opportunity to sing again too. Because I've been the same way. I mean, Tinsel is kind of my creative outlet too. So I've been busy with that, but also, it's fun to tie back in the singing because, I mean, I was a music major. That's what I did forever. So I really miss it. So I was glad you guys asked me to sing. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Honestly, we have performers all the way from like California to New York. And the money that we're going to, so what we're doing is a little different. Instead of having people like buy the lipstick, we're asking them to do a donation. And then any donation of $20 or more will get a free lipstick. And those donations are going to fund 2 virtual hospital visits, one in Pennsylvania and one in Ohio, that are happening with our 2021 calendar. So lots of, it kind of ties into a lot of different things. If you missed the broadcast, we're going to be posting the videos on Facebook and Instagram the whole week after. So you'll have a
Awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, I
don't know why my mic keeps going.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, is there something going on that? It was dramatic how it left for a second. But we all have technical difficulties here in the modern era of online streaming technology.
It keeps going away. I don't know. I don't know if it's because I moved the computer into the rehearsal room. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, so we have the event and you'll be able to donate for the rest of the week for those hospital visits on our Facebook. And it's going to be fun. And if nothing else, turn it on when you're in bed before you go to sleep. It'll be good entertainment.
Nice.
Yeah, and we're going to donate 20% of all of our sales to help veterans as well, helping them some tour in their cause. So we're going to keep that partnership going forward and, help you guys with the work you do with veterans. So I'm excited about that too, because, I always wanted to tie Tinsel to a cause and help and give back in some way. So this is our, first color where we're doing that. So.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe you'll start partnering with all kinds of great organizations. I know, like for us, we do pinups on tour and we partner with military brands, but we also do burlesque shows and we partner with like Planned Parenthood fundraisers and all kinds of stuff. So I'm sure as you get into this, you'll find lots of organizations that are like, yeah, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, for sure. I did a show in Dallas for Planned Parenthood once, and it was really fun. We gave all the funds to Planned Parenthood, and I did a burlesque routine to this song called The Clitoris, and it's pretty funny. If you guys haven't heard it, it's a great song. It'll get stuck in your head. So it's like perfect for Planned Parenthood, like a silly routine about the clitoris. I was like, this is great. I love it.
That's very funny. Who sings that song? Is it like a musical song or is it?
No, I'm gonna have to Google it. Let me see. It's like to find it.
If you don't know off the top of your head, it's okay.
Yeah, I'll have to find it because it's pretty funny. Like once you hear it, you'll never get it out of your head. Like I think it was stuck in my head for 2 months after I did that routine. So.
Now, Janine, are you doing shows right now? Are you doing virtual shows?
I haven't been. I've been doing mostly concentrating on Tinsel, but I have done. So Viva Dallas is pretty much my favorite. Viva Dallas Burlesque. They have a really beautiful venue here in Dallas, and I love performing there. I mean, it's pretty much dedicated to burlesque, right? And they have the best backstage you'll ever have. I mean, beautiful stage. I love it. So, obviously, every performance venue is kind of going through a tough time right now. So they have a Patreon that they started, a Patreon page. So I did some makeup tutorials on there. And then, Shoshana was like, yeah, you can sing for us. They're kind of adding their own content now because I think a lot of people have had to diversify and, see what they can do with entertainment. So I haven't been doing as many virtual shows. I have been doing more kind of like makeup tutorials and things for burlesque organizations like Viva Dallas. So, I've been actually kind of expanding, as well in the quarantine, just like I never had done a tutorial before. So it's like just kind of pushing yourself to try new things. Like, why not? I have the time. I have a ring light and I have the time. So might as well.
I feel like this is definitely the time to play. Like there are a lot of people I know who, not that I personally know, but I've noticed that like a bunch of celebrities now have like cooking shows that they'll do because they're like, I'm bored, I'm at home, I want to entertain. So like you can go, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I want to say like Rob Lowe does one. But yeah. Yeah, it's a time to play. I think that's, you know, the quarantine can be whatever you want, but like the longer it goes on, I feel all the entertainment people are like, I'm gonna figure out how this is gonna work.
Yeah, it's like, it's, you know, things. Sorry, my little dog's going crazy. Also, she has a tripod, so her name's Dina Von Tripod, by the way. So even burlesque goes into my.
Did you say she has a tripod? Like she's a tripod dog?
Yeah, she's a tripod dog, so she doesn't have her front left leg. So I named her Dina Von Tripod. So those working in the background.
And what kind of dog is she? Now that we have this image of the tripod burlesque dog.
She's a Chihuahua Terrier mix, so she's probably about like 11 pounds. And of course, I have a lovely like little collar for her. You know, she's burlesque, she doesn't even know it. So
nice.
But it really has been a time to, you know, try new things. Like, you know, things I was putting off, I was like, you know, I'm just gonna do it. And sometimes it can be kind of scary, like just diving in. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Is this stupid? Did some people like this tutorial? Like, is this the right place to put a sound? But then you just get over that, because that's always been like a hurdle I've had, obviously, because it took me over a year to put out the lipstick. Just be like, you know, believe in yourself and just do it. So that's something I feel like I've been learning more during the quarantine, is just, you know, good things come when you try, you know, just do it. Don't think about being, you know, just to have more self-confidence, I guess. So that's what I've been learning, I feel like, and being more creative. And creativity is so important. I mean, with people like us, you know, you have to have something, or else you'll just kind of, you know, be bored or not use that outlet for something. So we're kind of the same way.
It's like we're all given the gifts, so we better use them.
Exactly. Might as well. I mean, it makes life more fun, because, you know, I mean, I do have a corporate job during the day, which I really like, you know, so, I mean, you know, maybe eventually Tinsel will become my full time, but like for now, it's just kind of like I'm working 2 jobs, but it gives me the kind of more serious and the more fun, you know, or like creative part, because I was a music major in college, and, you know, I thought originally I was going to do opera. Then I decided not to do that. But so, you know, it was always such a huge part of my life, like my whole life, you know, like choir, singing, opera, all of that. And then I kind of got into the corporate world and let it go for a while. So it all kind of comes full circle, which I'm grateful for.
Now, where did you go to school for opera?
I went to TCU, Texas Christian University in Fort Worth.
Okay.
That's where my grandma went.
Really?
Yeah, my grandma graduated, I mean, forever ago, like, in the like 60s. So yeah, that's where my grandma went.
Awesome. Yeah, I kind of stayed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, because we moved a lot when I was a kid. So like I was always kind of the new kid, and we moved every 1 to 2 years. So I was like, it's fine. I can just stay here for a bit. Yeah, like, and I got good scholarships there. So, and they have a good music program. And being a choir, like we got to do neat things like sing in Carnegie Hall, and, you know, go on choir trips. And my choir director was crazy, but we all loved him, so it was a good experience.
That sounds about like every musical everybody's crazy. Like the people who end up like the teachers after a while, like.
I mean, you have to be a little nuts to like decide to live in music theater the rest of your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you have to kind of like not live with your feet on the ground a little bit, you know? Yeah. And you have to take it really, I remember every professor in college took everything we did so seriously. That was the thing that, looking back now, I'm like, none of it mattered. None of it mattered. Why did we take it all so seriously? Like, no one was getting paid. Nobody was like paying us to do it. Like, why are we? But yeah.
I think that's true about like all the arts in the beginning. I was musical theater. Well, I was musical theater like in high school, but like, I mean, even doing the shorts that I did when I first moved to LA, or like when I was doing a monologue at an acting school, you know, when we'd have like our 6-month, like, I remember going to Howard Fine, and we had like our year where everybody did a monologue, and it was like, you trained for it. Like,
and then you get in the adult world and you start working as a professional, and you're like, okay, I got 5 minutes to do this act. Let me figure it out. I was thinking of that today. The girls like literally learned, rehearsed, and recorded a new act in like an hour. And I was like, it's really impressive y'all can do that. Because like There was times in my life where I spent 3 weeks rehearsing one musical number.
It's true. I guess that prepared you to be so off the cuff, like all that training, I think it's like they don't talk about it's like when you're a performer too, it's just so exhilarating. You kind of like on autopilot. Like sometimes I don't even really remember all of it. I'm like, oh yeah. And then you look back at the video and it's like, oh yeah, that was fun. It's like you kind of just like go into that space. Like it's almost like a walking meditation. You know what I'm saying? Like you just kind of go into your space. And it's like a higher self type thing. And then they don't really, they don't talk about that as much when you're in school. Because I guess it's like, the practical application of learning it and all of that. But it's like, I don't feel like I felt that feeling till I was out of school and like, got to do my own routines. Because that's what I love about burlesque. That what else can you go up there, like do your own costume, pick your own songs, sing whatever you want to do your own choreography, pretty much make your own story. Like there's not much else like that. Because a lot, even in the classical music world or any world, like you have to rely on an ensemble, which ensemble burlesque is great too. But that's something I appreciated about it. It's just that total freedom to get into that space.
Yeah, you get to be a star, It's one of the few things where it's like you're encouraged by the other people in the show. It's to stand out, to be original, and so I feel like so much of performance is about blending in, making it like be a part of what everybody else is doing, and burlesque is the exact opposite of it. And that's why music theater gravitate. I know so many music theater performers that are burlesque performers. I think it's because we all wanted to be the lead, and we were all, I wasn't always the lead. I was occasionally the lead, not always the lead. I had to be the girl in the back waving the rose before, and that's not as much fun.
Yeah, and then you can also have your own, expression, like because in other, because I was in choir for so long in ensembles, which I still love ensemble singing, but I mean, you have a director or somebody who's telling you, this is my interpretation of the music, this is how I want you to sing it, this is, I want this fortissimo or whatever. So then you can just go on your own and be like, I'm gonna sing it however I want, I'm gonna sing this. I can do what, so you don't have to have that kind of element there, which a lot of other art does, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it just gives you that opportunity to be like, I'm just going to go all out and wear what I want. And not this black choir robe, which I never liked. So
I never liked the black choir robes either. I honestly, they make everyone look fat. Like everyone looks just like a boxy, like, we had dresses too that were really unflattering. We had these like show choir dresses that were not flattering on anyone. And I don't know who picked them, quite frankly.
I always wondered that too. And like actually they showed us the choir dress catalog once. Like it was a year when they were gonna redo the dresses because how they reuse them based on what size you are. And let me tell you, there are no options that are cute. Or recently, I mean, seriously, it's just like they're all like just black sheets that go down to the floor, and somebody somebody's mom has to like hem it for you with safety pins. It's all bad. So
I hemmed a dress last week with safety pins, so some things don't change.
Well, at least it's not a black choir robe.
Staplers are the most amazing way to hem stuff.
You just staple it.
Yeah, I had a great aunt who did it pretty much on all of her pants. But if you have to like hem something super quick, you just grab a stapler.
Never thought of that.
There's a little trick.
Mm-hmm.
I need to learn, or maybe I'll YouTube that after this because I feel like if I stapled it, it would look terrible.
So, Janie, you created some really great images for the Kiss event. So your partner is the photographer that takes all these great photos of you, right?
Yes, I'm so lucky because my boyfriend, his job is that he sells vintage cameras and and antiques and stuff like that. So he's a really great photographer. He knows everything about lenses and cameras. And so we just go into his office and I'll be like, hey, what about this? I kind of do the art direction and then he'll take the photo. So, I've spent so much on backdrops recently, because I know I'm going to use them. you can do it for product photos or photos of me. And then there's some studios in Dallas that partner with me, like Dynamite Dames and Dallas Pinup. So they said I could use their images as well. But it's really fun because like Sundays I'll just say like, hey, I have this kind of list of ideas, and I have my color family I want to stick with. So I was like, okay. And plus I have all these costumes anyway. Like, this is like a burlesque, necklace. I have this in like 3 colors. I'm a shopaholic too, admittedly. So I have so many things, but it's great because I'm like, look, I didn't have to buy anything. I just go to my closet and I'll just put it with lipstick. It looks really pretty. So I'm very lucky that I have him.
Yeah, no, images look beautiful. I mean, all the images on your website, I have to say that's one of the things about your brand is that it's very polished, especially for a new brand. The images look beautiful. And I know a lot of them are you, but you look different in like all the photos.
Wigs help. Wigs help. Like makeup, smart makeup.
Wigs are the best. I got really into them when I started doing stuff for free, and I wanted the pictures to show we were there. And I'm like, it's always me. So I started buying wigs and putting them on me. So it'd be like, look, there's a girl with pink hair. There's a girl with like brown hair. But they're all still me.
There's Susie. There is Susie.
There is Susie. Exactly.
Susie's cat's stripper name, if you want the backstory of it.
Susie was my first stripper name, which I did not pick, but was actually a very good stripper name. But I mean, Susie's like the complete opposite of like Ferrari or like Porsche. Like Porsche is like up here, and like Susie's like the girl next door. Like, which is totally me. So that works out perfectly.
Oh yeah, yeah. I picked mine because at first I was Zsa Zsa Velour. That's what I did for my first show, and I was like, oh, I love that name, Zsa Zsa Velour. And then I was like, oh, Cha Cha Velour is a really big performer. Dang it! It sounds really, no wonder somebody already took it. Because I tried to pick one, but then I went with Zerlina Brava because it kind of harks back to opera, because Zerlina is a character in a Mozart opera, and then Brava is like Italian, like brava, like good job. So I was like, oh, okay, it kind of works. So I was trying to do something like a little different. Sometimes that's good and bad though, because like people don't necessarily know how to say it, but I'm used to that because my real last name is Italian, so it's okay. It all kind of
like I got it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, and that's the thing about burlesque names. I have to say, at a certain point, I mean, we've interviewed Cha Cha for our channel. Like, she's great. I actually don't even know she performs anymore. She used to run the Las Vegas School of Burlesque, and then like I haven't seen much about her performing. I think she kind of took a segue. But the thing about like Cha Cha, it's like Zsa Zsa Gabor. It's like she didn't come up with Zsa Zsa Gabor. You know what I mean? Like Zsa Zsa came up with Zsa Zsa. There's so much stuff in burlesque where people are like, and you're like, well, okay, I get it. And I get it. But at the same time, like, there's only so many kitties and
so many kitties.
Dixies.
Yeah.
So many kitties, Dixies, Trixies.
None of us are, the point is none of us are original.
None of us are original. Exactly.
And anytime a burlesque dancer's like, that's mine, I'm like, no, it's not. Like, it's not. Like, you didn't come up with it. You're taking it off of something you saw. Like,
it's true.
Every community,
yeah. I was saying that music is the same because, I was a music major, so you learn about music history and all of that. And like, none of that's original either. It all like builds on itself.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like everything's kind of like that. But, I feel like burlesque, what I like about it now is that, like traditionally, obviously it was like more of like striptease form of entertainment, but now like it's kind of more, I don't know, it's kind of more about like the current world too. Like people do routines about, more serious things, or, I like the mix, it could be like something super funny, like, Bonnie does like a banana routine. I don't know if you've seen her, like, so like her rhinestone banana. I'm like, I love that lady. Like, I'm never gonna forget that routine. But then, then there's another one about, like for Vivian, like she does more like serious. Vivian Bruce is a performer here in Dallas, so she'll do like something more serious. So and I love that you can bring in like what's happening in the world into it as well. Like to have that form of expression. And that's something that kind of drew me to it as well, is that, you know, it's like it's just like any type of art form, you know, express something that's kind of hard or painful and then make it beautiful. So I love that too.
To me, it's very similar to stand-up in that you can be whatever persona you want to be, but you're pretty much in charge of the stage, right? You know, there's only a couple art forms where that's right. Either you're a singer by yourself or like a stand-up comedian. So like, yeah, it's you get to figure out what version of, you know, you're an individual person to begin with, and then you get to figure out what persona you want to play within that individual person, which is fun. There's like layers of consciousness in any routine.
Yeah, it's so true. And then you can use it other, you know, whatever talent you have. Because something that kept me from doing it for so long, I mean, first of all, being, you know, self-conscious, but second of all, you know, it's like, well, I'm not really a trained dancer. Like, honestly, I was in the musical in high school and I stepped on that guy's feet so much. He got so mad at me because, you know, like, I'm just not, like, I mean, but, you know, I've learned more as I've gone into it. I'm like, actually, like, I think I'm okay. I mean, you know, I'm not freshly trained, but I can learn some things, you know, enough to at least look kind of graceful in a burlesque routine. Like, for example, always point your toes, you know, stuff like that. But that's something that kept me from it because I was like, well, it's burlesque dancing. Do you have to be, you know, a professional dancer or no dancing steps? And so, you know, taking that class kind of helped too. Because I think if, you know, you see a show, you don't necessarily realize, you know, the things that go into it. You're like, oh, could I do that? Or, you know, it's like, I feel like, you know, any body type or any type of person can, you just take what you're already good at and put it into your routine, or, you know, something you want to showcase by yourself. And I like that too, because I mean, it was a little bit intimidating at first. That's why it took me so long to get into it. Because it's like, oh my God, these women are so beautiful, it looks so perfect. Like, can I do it? You know, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. And so I bought Joe Weldon's DVD.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, so good, right? Yes.
She's so great. I love her. And then, I mean, of course, like her red boa, like, I love the outfit, everything. But I mean, she has really practical, you know, steps you can use as kind of building blocks, which was helpful because, you know, and you don't grow up just like learning about the bump and grind, you know, it's like, oh, okay, well, okay, like I can do that, you know, I can move my hips, so that was helpful. I really liked her.
I think Kat always says everybody comes to burlesque through different avenues, right?
Yeah.
It's one of the great things about our art form is like some people do come at it through the dancing. And I will say, you know, when you watch the competitions nowadays, it feels like the superb dancers are ruling the burlesque world. You know what I mean? You're like, oh my gosh, that's insane movement. But when you look at some of the icons, they don't even move when they're on stage. Yeah. They just walk and stick their hand out, and you watch them take a glove off for 30 seconds, and you're fucking entertained. Like, it doesn't have to be a lot of movement, and you don't have to be a great dancer if you're a great performer. They're two different categories, you know? And some people are great costumers. You know, some people come at it through costuming and they're insane costumers, or great makeup artists, or some people are just great at the whole look, the drag of it all. You know, I always say even in burlesque, you put on drag a lot of times with the wig and the face. It's like putting on the same thing a drag queen would put on, you know?
The glitter.
Yeah. And some people just come at it through the sexiness of it. You know, there's people that come at it through the stripper world, and they come at it through a much more raunchy kind of aspect. And I think that's cool too. There's lots of different burlesquers. And I like watching them all get naked.
That's what makes it so fun.
It's amazing because I think the thing that I find the most fascinating when I watch burlesque is the confidence. It's like, and that a lot of times when you start out in a dancer background and you get into burlesque, like if you've especially done any competitions, you're like, I'm doing this and this and this and this and this. And you throw everything in, like you choreograph it all. And then the longer you do it, the less you actually do of that. You still choreograph it, but maybe everything's slower. Because like really it is the idea of holding your own space while you take yourself off in whatever form that is, like whatever costume and story. But it's that like if you watch like Dita Von Teese, like that, she really does not dance at all. She doesn't move at all, but she's like she's like a living doll that takes off her clothes.
Yeah,
and I enjoy watching her get naked too.
Yeah.
I was like, it was really good. I got lucky. We just came to House of Blues a few years ago in Dallas because somehow, like, we got there early, and I was probably 2 feet from her. I was like the first person by the stage, so then I could really see all the Swarovski up close. And I mean, just oh my god, just the costumes, like just one glove. I mean, just the amount of crystals. It was amazing. Like, I mean, sometimes when I'm rhinestoning my own thing, I'm like, oh, wish I could be that level of rhinestone as Tina Von Teese, but it's okay.
You have to know you're going to make your money back on that, though, because it is an investment that she puts into those props. And I know she has a lot of great working relationships with Swarovski, with Christian Louis Vuitton, with what's that, Mr. Corset, the corsetier guy,
Mr.
Pearl.
The guy who does all her stockings.
Yeah, I know she has like a great relationship with all those people, so she probably gets a little bit better deal than the rest of us. You know what I mean? But still, it is. It's an investment, you know?
Mm-hmm. It is. And so, like, during quarantine, I've just been rhinestoning some more things that I wanted to, just because, I mean, I enjoy rhinestoning anyway because it's kind of zen and it's creative. But, yeah, isn't it? I mean, it's just like, I don't know what is so like relaxing about it. Just like put on some music and then just get in your little zone, you know?
To me, it's like doing a puzzle backwards. It's like you're creating the puzzle.
Kat, would you like to tell her what you rhinestoned?
I take everyday objects and rhinestone them, and one of them was a giant Tyrannosaurus Rex. So he's like 9 feet tall.
9 feet of rhinestones? That's amazing.
Yeah, there's like
I love how she's like, I take everyday objects like a 9-foot dinosaur. Like,
well, you know, you did buy him. He was purchased at Home Depot. But like I do rubber duckies too. I'm working on a line of like rhinestone covered dildos with a sex toy company, vibrators. Sorry. And then I'm working on some like orange cones with like a head, like a hazard
like
zone
a traffic
area.
Person, like a rhinestone traffic.
Like a construction guy, like something out of YMCA on crack is pretty much what I'm thinking it's going to end up like.
That's awesome. I want to, you know, attain that level someday.
To me, it goes back to like what we were talking about. It's very meditative. That's what I enjoy about it. Is like I just pop an edible and like rhinestone for a couple hours and listen to Ancient Aliens, and I'm in heaven.
That's awesome. People, like this is awesome.
Well, anytime you're around us, you're more than welcome to come over in Vegas. Kat's in Florida right now. I don't know how long she'll be in Florida. She doesn't know how long she's going to be in Florida.
Probably another month, and then I'm going to California for a while. So
Okay. All right. So she doesn't know how long she's going to be in Florida. Yeah. So, Jeannie, if people want to find you and Tinsel Cosmetics online, where can they do that?
It's just tinselcosmetics.com. So, and it's spelled like the Christmas tinsel, Tinsel. So you can always go to that website, and then the Kiss Yvette is on pre-order right now, and it'll be launched after our launch party tomorrow on Thursday. So you can always, you know, reach us there, and then, you know, also on Instagram, you know, follow us there. If you know, ever need to be in touch with me, like, you know, I'm one woman show. I'm always there. You know, I'm always open to customer feedback too. So that's our channel. And then, you know, if you ever are in the Dallas area, it's also carried in Dallas Pinup and Deep Ellum and Fort Worth Retro. So we have a couple boutiques that are carrying it now in person. Yeah.
Yeah, those are great. I mean, Dallas Pinup's like a great store. So that's a great store to be carried in. Yeah, look at you.
Yay.
Yay. All right, Janie, thanks for joining us. And I will talk to you more tomorrow during our virtual show.
For sure. Thank you for having me. This was awesome.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. I loved learning about that, about the whole cosmetics industry. It's all product development is very intimidating to me.
Oh my God, it's so overwhelming. When she was like, "I have a day job," I'm like, "Yeah, you probably need." I mean, like, because if you can't do it yourself and you have to hire someone, I mean, I don't think a chemist is something you can pay somebody a couple $100 to get away with. Like
I said, this lipstick is amazing. There's no doubt in my mind she's invested heavily in developing this formula.
Thousands and thousands of dollars
into developing this formula, because like honestly, my biggest fear when partnering with her, I was like, what if the product's not good? Right? Like, what if I buy all this product and like I get it and I hate the color or I hate the product? And when I got it, I was like, oh, this is really good. And then I was like, oh, she really knows what she's doing. It's great. We're going to have it available at our shows. And like she said, it's available online at Tinsel Cosmetics. And then, of course, if you decide to donate to our fundraiser for the PA or the Ohio Veterans Home, it's a virtual Veterans Home visit, not an in-person one, that you'll get a lipstick that way too. So lots of options for that.
And I thought it was tomorrow and she said Thursday. So what is the actual date for people who are listening?
It's tomorrow. Yeah, it's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. Okay. And what time is it at?
It's Wednesday, September 9th at 6 p.m.
Okay. It's for anybody who wants
6 p.m. East, 6 p.m. Pacific. So that would be
9 p.m. Eastern. 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yes. I had to do the math there. Yes.
You've been up since 5, so don't worry.
I've been up since 5. Give me a break. We've recorded beautiful videos today, and I can't wait to share them with you all. My favorite one is Kiss by Prince.
Nice.
Which turned out so good. Amazingly, Kiss by Prince can easily be turned into a 60s mod girl group number. Like, who knew?
Nice. I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah. So it's exciting. We're getting it all together, and it's not, like I said, it was just nice to be creative, to have the girls over today, to like choreograph stuff, to see them all in costumes and see them all in the lipstick. They're all different skin tones, and it looks beautiful on all of them.
And what performers can we see tomorrow for the event? Can you tell us who's gonna be?
We're gonna have Mara McFadden out of New York, which is also Fauna LaFleur is her burlesque name. Kathleen Burgoon out of LA. And then we're doing a Vegas cast where we like did a bunch of stuff together, and it's Bridget McKinnon, Gabrielle Zapata, Carly Jones, Becky Fullington, and myself in the Vegas cast.
Nice.
And then our new booking girl is gonna host it. So I can run all the behind the scenes stuff. Our new booking girl, everyone gets to meet her. Her name is Dominique Boyson. She's really adorable, and you all get to meet her tomorrow on the live stream.
Nice. Excellent.
Yeah. All exciting things. So, Kat, you found great stories for us. I don't have my glasses in front of my face, so I'm trying to I have the tabs pulled up. But what's our first story that we're starting with this week? What do you want to start with?
We can talk about it. Let me grab my notes. Let's talk about the rent boy community. This is like the sexy
I'm
one.
down for the rent boy. Let me pull up this image here. I was really interested in learning about this.
The thing about Vice stories is like the sexy Vice stories. They're very long. They're like New Yorker length stories, where they go into like these details of you can tell that they've definitely taken the time to investigate this. And this came out of Vice Media's magazine. I guess they have a magazine on their algorithm issue, which investigates the rules that govern our society and what happens when they're broken. So, when you go outside the algorithm, so to speak. And this is about rentboy.com, which was a male escort service that had been around for 18 years. And then in 2015, all of a sudden the DOJ, Homeland Security shut them down.
Of course they did. I think that's around the same time they shut down all the sex stuff on Craigslist and all the sex stuff on Backpage.com.
Yeah, I mean, Backpages was around a little bit longer after that, anyone. So in the sex worker community, over the last couple of 2 or 3 years, the SESTA and FOSTA, which are two sex trafficking laws have come into effect that have slowly but surely shut a lot of stuff down that is bad stuff, but it's also restricted stuff in terms of like sex worker stuff, like the ability to advertise, right? You know, like things like the back pages and stuff like this. And the thing is that the rent boy had been around for, like I said, 18 years, and the Department of Homeland came in and seized 836 terabytes worth of data. 6 men and 1 woman, who were all like office workers and the higher ups, were charged with promoting prostitution, and each faced 5 years in prison and $250,000 in fines. But the thing that was kind of like, okay, was that like at this point, the company had hosted the Hookie Awards on Showtime which were the Hooker Awards, pretty much.
The Hookie Awards?
I swear to God,
it's the Hooker Awards. Like what?
This company was like giving out like, you know, scholarships for the men escorts. Like there were all these opportunities to become more than an escort if you wanted to. But like the Hookie Awards, by the way, had like best escort, best cock, and best bottom, which was funny because like I didn't realize that best cock was like best topper. Like because technically those could be 2 separate awards if you want to get into it. Like best cock is
so best cock and best top are 1 award?
No. The way they just mentioned 3. There's best escort, which I want to know how you figured that out. Like, is there somebody that goes along on the date?
Is it the number of orgasms that your clients have, or
do your clients like vote in afterwards? They're like, oh, that was the best. I need to
vote.
Top.
They deserve my vote. It's like Best in Vegas.
It is. That's the thing I always find funny about the sex industry. You've heard me say this before, but like, you know, we've been to the AVNs a couple times. And one of the things I find funny is there are the fleshlights. For anyone who doesn't know, it's a flashlight with a woman's vagina, and the guy holds it over his dick and he fucks it. It's very popular with truckers and a lot of dudes. a lot of dudes out there. You know, they used to host a huge party at Hustler every year during the AVNs because they have boku money. But every year they have like porn stars who are like, this is my fleshlight. I am blah, blah, blah porn star, and here is my product. And I always think about the meeting they had in the boardroom where they put out all the different versions of that girl's vagina, and they were like, you could have this one, or you could have this one, or do you think this one is like your vagina? And they sit there and they talk about it because like it's a business like anything else. But like I always find that like my mind goes to that stuff and I'm like, it's hysterical.
It is hysterical.
It is because it's like it's like every other job, you know.
Are the Hookie Awards still around?
I don't believe so. We could Google it and we could look it up for
we'll
next time.
We'll let them know next week. We'll let you know next week. And Kat, if the Hookie Awards are still around, I expect press passes to the next one.
Well, I'm sure they're postponed to 2021. We have to get a
it's just not safe to book right now.
It's not. Oh my golly. But so what they did was in this article, they go into more of the details of what it was like to be a male escort. And they talked about in the world of prostitution, 80% of the arrests in prostitution are women and 20% are men, right? Which means it's something that is more acceptable because less people are getting arrested, right? It still exists. Male prostitution exists along with female prostitution, but they're not getting arrested as much by the cops. They're not getting persecuted by legal situations.
I would also be curious just to know the actual numbers because obviously gay men are a smaller percentage of the population than straight men.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would just be curious. I mean, I think, and this percentage might be off and might be ancient, but I think there's somewhere around 10% of the population. So the fact that 20% of them are the arrest, that's an interesting,
right?
You know,
yeah. And so the story goes on because the story is about the whole rent boy is the guy who founded it, who pled guilty because he didn't have the funds to keep going on. So he went to jail, and he was in jail for a couple of years, and then he came out, and then he wanted to get back into the business that he had been in for 18 years before he went to jail. So then he decided that he wanted to help kind of foster the male escort industry because the site that they had been shut down, and there were a couple of sites, but they were inferior. So then they wanted to for male sex workers, which is like a whole entity in itself because the majority of sex work is female based. So it's like they became like a baby section within SWOOP, which is SWOP, which is the Sex Workers Outreach Project, which is, I believe, I don't know if it's a nonprofit, but it is nonprofit in like concept where it is helping, share information in the world of sex working. So the guys who started Rent Boy started this site called Molly House, the Molly House Project, and Molly houses were 18th century boarding houses. What is it called? Like, where it's like a boarding house with a tavern underneath it in the 18th century. And there were specific houses where like the gay guys at the 18th century would go, and they would look the other way, so that because homosexuality was of course illegal at that point. So they were called Molly houses. So they created the Molly Project, the Molly House Project, which is there to kind of give an exchange of information for male sex workers so that they have a safe space in the way female sex workers have been. We talked about this last week, how like sex work has only been a concept for like probably like the last 5 or 6 years, maybe 7, where it's like that term, that word, up until like, and I mean, people use the word hoe all the time still, even, people who work in the industry, but it's the legitimizing of it that I find very interesting over time.
Yeah. And I hope you're contributing to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing about a Vice article is it's very in-depth and you learn a lot, and there's like so much to even like, there's like this tidbit and that tidbit, and you're like, oh, this could go so many ways for the story.
Yeah, a lot of rabbit holes to run down, but it is fascinating to kind of think that, I mean, I don't know when gay sex was actually legalized in this country, but I think mid-century, right? Like it was illegal to be gay like in the 50s. It
was illegal to be gay in the 50s. I think you're talking about the 70s. They might have started
70s, right? They might have started changing those laws.
Yeah, because like I mean even the 60s, it was like frowned upon.
Well, my uncle was gay, and the way that my family found out he was gay was he got picked up at like a sex party in the park with gay men, because that's how the gay men like. That's like the only place they had to go meet, right. And it was all like in the woods. And I mean, I'm very grateful. I mean, I'm sure that exists on some level, men that aren't comfortable now, but in some ways, I hope the internet's made it safer for these men to like.
I actually have an article that did not make it into this week, but we will talk about next week, and how with the coronavirus, the glory hole has come back into fashion.
The glory hole's come back. I get it though.
Right? So like in terms of like anonymous casual gay sex, like it's now become a thing where like you go to a party and there's like a wall and there's a dick sticking out of it.
I get it. I mean, it's the only safe way to have casual sex. Plexiglass between you.
Oh my gosh.
Well, at least they're having sex. At least somebody is. You also found a really great video this week. I watched the whole thing. It was about Femme Fatales, like the archetype of Femme Fatales. And some of the points that this video made, I thought it was a Sundance video. Is that correct?
No. So this is a YouTube channel called The Take. That I discovered like 6 months ago. I'm working on 2 writing projects right now. One's a novel and the other one is a new screenplay. And it's very helpful for me to figure what they do is it's like a 20-minute video about a certain archetype. So about a month ago, I talked about a video which was about the nice guy. But I thought these would be a lot of fun to explore. And the first one I thought we should do, of course, is Femme Fatales.
Yes.
And it's definitely run by two females, but it's very interesting because they make a lot of valid points when you start to look at certain patterns. And the Femme Fatale is the concept or the archetype or the trope or whatever you want to call it, where she brings destruction of the man or the men in her story. So, you see this mostly in detective novels, number one, where it's a hard-boiled detective who falls for her anyway, and then she's almost his doom. And then she gets carted away at the end. And, it's more than anything else, the things that they go through that really describe a femme fatale character is that she's irresistible, she's magnetic, she's seductive, she likes to make a sensational impression, she is absolutely a sexual being who yields her sexuality as a weapon to get what she wants. She likes money.
Oh, God forbid.
I know.
God forbid.
I know.
You like sex and money, you're terrible.
Yes.
Oh, wait, are you a man? Sorry.
Right. Well, that's the thing is that traditionally the overarching thing is traditionally she doesn't want to be a mother. She's not the caring type. She's not the lovey-dovey type. She's out for herself and that's it. And she's going to do what every tool in her toolbox to get there, And what it does is overall, their point is that the villainy of the femme fatale exposes the cultural anxieties about females, which was this form of a character has been around since the beginning of time with Eve, who's took a bite of that apple of knowledge and then had to cover herself. And then they also talk about Salome and Delilah, who all of these women.
Oh, the Bible's riddled with these women. Yeah, the Bible's riddled with these women.
Right. It's I'm gonna take you down a road. Well, actually, the Old Testament is. The New Testament, they like prostitutes by that point. They're like, whatever, woo, prostitution. And then we get into film noir. And film noir, we're going to jump from the Bible to film noir. That was a great segue.
Just like a 4,000-year jump. It's fine.
But a lot of that was, when men went to war in World War II, they they gave over a lot of their jobs and they came back and they're women. This is like the Rose of the Riveter. So it's they come back and the women can do the jobs and I don't really need the men. So then this was the cultural way of resetting and being dude, you need to go back into your homemaker kind of concept. And maybe you want to run the show and be the CEO and have sex with people, but then you're going to be a bad person and we're going to kill you because you're a femme fatale, in a movie, pretty much.
Well, they said there was basically in this, they were there's two outcomes for the femme fatale, right?
Yes.
Either she was a femme fatale and deserves everything that's coming to her, right?
Right.
There's no good ending for her. Or she was tragically misunderstood. She's really an angel, really a virgin, and never wants to hurt a puppy in her life. I don't know why. But no, I bet femme fatales don't even want to hurt puppies. Nobody wants to hurt puppies except Cruella DeVille. But she's kind of a femme fatale.
She is. No, she definitely is. The picture that's up right now on the video is of Gilda, and the example they used in Gilda, which was a very famous movie that Rita Hayworth starred in, which I have not seen. So I'm only listing this off of them, was that in this movie, Gilda's a sex pot. One of her ex-boyfriends come back and is obsessed with her and thinks she's screwing around on everybody, but she's married. But he keeps getting more and more obsessed because she's a bad girl. She's bad girl.
Bad girl.
That's right. And it's she's smoking cigarettes, she's singing seductive songs, and she's flipping her red hair everywhere. It's a very, very iconic scene for Rita Hayworth. And then in the end, it turned out she wasn't a bad girl. And he forgives her and all is well.
Yes, because she's not a bad girl, so he can love her now because she doesn't like sex.
Exactly. It's such a Madonna horror complex. I was talking to my mom about this. the other day about like an ex-boyfriend who's Catholic, and I'm like, it's either you fuck them or you put them on a pedestal, but there's no in between. And I find that like a lot of guys that I've dated, because I went to a Catholic college, but especially with the Catholics.
Yeah, it's hard for people to merge those two worlds, you know? And you're like, don't you want your partner to be somebody that you also like want to have crazy sex with? But like to them, the girl who has crazy sex isn't the girl you want to raise your kids. Like somehow that is mutually exclusive, which is just absurd. But you know, we're working on it, breaking those barriers again.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I think that the best kind of relationship is one where everybody's who they want to be and they're okay with them. They don't need them to fill roles, but usually we always end up getting people to fill roles eventually, right? You know, we play out weird drama. We play out weird dramas like in our relationships that are from our childhood, and we don't even realize it until we take a step back and we're like, holy shit.
100%. But you know, it looks like she's not playing out her traumas from childhood.
Zendaya.
But she was a child star, so it kind of works.
She was. This is my like obligatory fun one. I like having a glamour one in terms of our articles, because like it's just, you know, it adds for a different kind of tone.
Element.
A little different element, but we did talk about her last week because
she's friends with or she was on the show with I don't know if they're friends. I don't know if they're friends, but
it is. I don't know if they're friends either. But it's more that like this is the tale of like two people who were on the same show, and this is the trajectory like 5 or 6 years later.
That was Bella Thorne.
Yes, Bella Thorne. Yes, Bella Thorne, who did the OnlyFans. And Zendaya, like, I don't know who is her business manager, who's her manager, but this girl has definitely just keep going up in terms of like, she's like, you know, she's up there with like Beyonce and Taylor Swift when it comes to being at the Met Gala Awards. Because it's just like, she like has an amazing design element, and like she's got an amazing body too that like just literally wears clothes perfectly. There's a great dress that I love where it's like because it's something a Barbie doll would wear. It's like red and it like poofs out, like it's got some crazy petticoat. That's the fun thing about like the Met Gala events is like you just go crazy.
That's the only reason to go to the Met Gala events is to wear the outfit. Like,
absolutely,
that's why you go.
Well, because everybody wants to dress up, right? Like, you know, and if you dress up for a living, you want to dress up even more. Like, you know, if you're on the red carpet 3 or 4 times a week, then like you're like, oh, whatever, dress. Like, you know, so I have to wear something that's like.
I get it.
So yeah,
but no, her style is amazing. Like some of the outfits, I would recommend anybody to go back and kind of just Google Zendaya red carpet looks, and whoever her, like you said, her stylist, whoever, she's flawless. She just like is becoming a timeless beauty, you know?
Yeah, and it's that they're such characters. Like all you can tell, like every time she dresses up in an outfit, it's like she's becoming a shard of herself. Like where there's the one where she's dressed up like Cinderella. There's one where she's wearing a dress that's like a giant butterfly. And like that's the fun. You know, there are those people who are like the classic beauties and they always wear like the same clothes, but to be like classic and then be able to play within the element of creativity, I think is a very fun marriage.
Yeah, no, her Met Gala looks are works of art. And even like her other red carpet looks, the girl just, like you said, she wears clothes flawlessly. She's definitely becoming a fashion icon of her generation, if not our generations as a whole. She looks beautiful. And It is interesting. I will say, you know, she seems to have a slightly different trajectory than her co-star in terms of careers.
Right. Her birthday happened to be like within like this time frame, so she popped up on like one of my news feeds. So I was like, oh, and I was like, it's very interesting to see people's paths, especially people's like careers within celebrity, because it's like there's so many details that all can add to the bigger picture. You know, you look at like someone like Lindsay Lohan, who was, you know, when she was 20, the top of her game, and because of a couple of snafus here and there, like, you know, her career went a different way than someone like Tom Cruise. Like, I think Tom Cruise is like one of the most amazing stories in the world when it comes to celebrity, because like in the 80s, he decided he was going to be a superstar, and he was a superstar. And he's pretty much, I mean, regardless of whatever you believe about certain areas of his life, he has been in the box office for like 30 years now as a leading man. And that's very impressive.
Yeah, and one thing I'll say about Tom Cruise, I've never met him myself, but everyone I know who has met him says he makes you feel great about yourself after talking with him. So no matter what you think about them, the reason he's successful is because he makes you feel good, you know? Will Smith is the same way. Everyone who meets Will Smith is like, wow, my day's better after I chatted with him. And you're like, well, no wonder he's successful, you know? If you're making people's lives better.
Keanu Reeves too. Keanu Reeves is someone who very early on recognized that he could surround himself with better talent than himself. But like, he's like one of the, you know, it's like he was some, like for the Matrix movies, he took cuts because he wanted better actors in the movie. You know, he's also apparently one of those guys that learns every member of the crew's name by the first day, which is like also awesome.
That's incredibly impressive, because if you've been on set and you've been a crew member, most people don't even acknowledge your existence. Yeah. Like, there's so many people that are like, you're just the grip over here. You're the PA or whatever.
You're the extra. Which is like, whoa.
Yeah. Oh, if you're an extra, you're lucky if your image makes it on camera, much less. I mean, I never really got into the extra work thing in LA because my day job was doing like PR stuff, so that it paid better than doing extra work, right? But how did you
get your SAG card then?
I got my SAG card in Seattle.
Okay.
I got it in a smaller market. Yeah. That was my trick. My way in was, and I thought it was so important that I had it, and then it didn't matter at all. No, sorry, SAG. I wish I could say that I liked my union more, but I've never really used it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I'm in it, and I've done a few things here and there that maybe I got paid a little bit better because I was SAG. I'm sure I've lost more jobs from being SAG than getting, honestly. No. But I don't even know if I have it on my resume anymore.
I know. I mean, I remember when I first got to LA, like I was like, this is the thing that proves you're an actor. Like in the way I was talking about like the monologues at the acting school, and you like thought you were going to get discovered during the 2 days where everybody's doing like a million monologues. Like
all those agents are there to see you, Kat.
Just me.
Oh my God. I had fun in baby Hollywood, even though I like didn't know what I was doing and like probably thought everything was a bigger deal than it should be. I still had a lot of fun living in Hollywood.
Oh no. I mean, I love LA. I love Hollywood. I love all of it. Like I still not that I've paid my SAG dues for like the last 4 years. So like I'm station 12.
You're not getting the SAG screeners at the end of the year.
I'm not getting the SAG screeners. I know. And like I stopped paying like 1 year, and then I was like, I should get it up to speed. But then I hear it's like so much money to get it back up to speed that like I should investigate that at some point. At some point. Well, here's the thing. If you get a job that you need to get it for,
you'll get it.
Well, and I will tell you, here's the fun fact I know as someone who worked at a talent agency is that if they want you and you're station 12, they'll pay for you to they'll pay your dues. Like
exactly. So just wait till you get the gig. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
I mean, I'm not doing a lot of SAG movies here in Plantation, Florida.
Anyway, so. Really?
Yeah,
not a huge. But who knows where movies are going to move to now? I think this whole thing is going to affect Hollywood drastically because the movie industry was already kind of moving out of LA. And now that literally people are leaving LA, we'll see what happens. I'm curious to see what happens to to Hollywood after all this.
Everybody can go. Like that's one of the nice things about LA. Like you can go see a comedy show any day of the week or like a music show or all that stuff. But that was pre-COVID, and we're like we're deep into this COVID now. So like who knows? We're this is not like 2 months into quarantine, guys. We are in September now. Like we've been doing this
6 months into it.
We're 6 months in.
I know. I was talking to one of my dancers, and she was able to like live at her parents' house for like 3 months and then live on their boat for a month. And I was like, holy shit, you've been gone for like 4 months? Like, wow, like it's crazy. But, you know, time flies, but we'll be back with more Better Than Sex.
We will. You guys will learn all about the glory hole coming back into fashion.
Yes. And if you want to check out, I've been watching a lot of our old burlesque videos because we have some new people in the cast. In trying to get them inspired to come up with solos, which reminded me how many kick-ass videos we have on our YouTube channel. So check that out, WTT. Find us on social medias, rate and review us in iTunes. It goes a long way, guys, towards making the algorithm like us. And we'll be back soon to figure out what's better than sex.
Yeah, someday.
We'll figure it out. Till next time.
Today.
Bye.
Bye.